So it looks like Marvel has made a major change to one of its X-Men characters in Hunt for Wolverine Mystery in Madripoor number 4. For those of you that don't know about this, I'll leave a link in the description below so you guys can check out the article, and I'll go over it a little bit here with y'all. So let's go ahead and start from the top. This is from comicbook.com, and it reads as follows. Today, Marvel made a major change to an X-Men character, changing one of the most identifiable aspects of that character that has been in place for over 30 years. Following the events of the Hunt for Wolverine one-shot, Kitty Pryde puts together a team of X-Men, herself, Psylocke, Jubilee, Rogue, Storm, and Domino, to head to Madripoor to investigate whether Magneto is responsible for stealing Logan's body from its grave, and believe they're meeting with Magneto, only to find that it is a psychic named Mind Blast, is using psychic illusions to fool mutants, allowing the Femme Fatales, a group working for Viper, Wolverine's ex-wife, former Madam Hydra, and Madripoor crime lord, to strike. The group manages to capture Storm, Rogue, and Psylocke while Domino, Kitty, and Jubilee escape. Since then, the story has been primarily about the escaped X-Men trying to rescue their captured teammates as well as the actual Magneto. After the battle, Psylocke becomes a fixation of one of Viper's henchwomen named Sapphire Styx. Styx hungers for human souls and has made Psylocke her latest prey. Styx drains Betsy so much that Betsy dies, but then suddenly a psychic version of Wolverine in his Patch persona appears. Patch fights alongside the X-Men, suggesting something more is going on. Mystery in Madripoor number 4 opens on Psylocke inside a kind of psychic realm where all of many souls that Styx has drained over her many years of life still reside. One of them is Wolverine, who had previously encountered Wolverine as Patch and tasted his soul. Though Logan survived the encounter, Wolverine encourages Psylocke to fight back, and the other souls trapped by Styx join with Betsy, increasing her power. The energy of those souls combined with Psylocke's own psychic abilities let Psylocke literally burst out of Styx's body, killing her. Psylocke is then able to use her psychic powers, which are still on override, to build herself a new body resembling her original body, molecule by molecule, and a new costume to go with it. This is the first time that Psylocke has inhabited her original Caucasian body, or a new copy of it anyway, since she was turned into an Asian ninja over 30 years ago. If you haven't been reading X-Men comics for that long, Betsy Braddock is a white British woman who was at one point captured by the Hand. The group's leader at the time had just lost his best assassin and lover, a woman named Quanon. With the help of the Sorcerer Spiral and some hand magic, the then amnesic Psylocke was brainwashed and given Quanon's body. The change was meant to be temporary, but when writer Chris Claremont unceremoniously left the X-Men line after 17 years, no one else bothered to follow through and reverse the change. Betsy has been in that body for over 30 years. Even now, it seems that Psylocke's other body isn't done. The final panel of Mystery in Madripoor shows Psylocke's other body up and active again, even manifesting Psylocke's psychic knife. So, of course, this is something that is super polarizing among people. There's people on the one hand that are saying, good, she's no longer doing yellowface. She's no longer culturally appropriating the Asian culture because she's always been a white woman inside an Asian woman's body. And then on the other hand, you have people saying that, oh, this is terrible that they made her white again because, we need more Asian representation in comic books, and she was one of the more prominent Asian characters. But to that I would say, look, she was never actually Asian to begin with. And I'm not saying that she was culturally appropriating all these years because, again, this was a story. This was something that she was really forced into. It's not like she willingly decided to become an Asian woman in the comic books. It's something that was forced upon her. So it wasn't, to me, a thing of her really culturally appropriating. I never really saw it that way. So I understand both sides of the argument, but at the same time, I don't really care what they do with her in terms of them turning her back into a white woman. It really doesn't matter because what matters most here is not her race, but the content of her character. As long as the character remains the same at the core, I think that's the most important thing. I don't think people should be getting so caught up in the fact that she's becoming a white woman again because that's something that she was originally anyways. And I would have no problem if they decided to keep her in an Asian woman's body. Why? Because, look, that's, of course, like most people are arguing, hey, look, they had her that way for the last 30 years. Why not just keep her that way? I wouldn't mind that either because, again, this is something that she was forced into. This is part of her character development. This is part of her story. She was forced in a position that she did not ask for, something that was put on her that she never asked for. So that was always an interesting dynamic in her story and in her character development. Now, at the end of the day, look, Marvel can do whatever they want with these characters, whether people like it or not. I don't think it's a big deal. That is my honest opinion on the matter. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's something people should get all up in arms about. And really, I've never seen it as cultural appropriation or any kind of yellow facing or anything like that. I mean, this is not a Rachel Dolezal situation where somebody willingly decided to deceive people into thinking that they were another race because that's what they identified with. So I don't think people should be taking out the pitchforks and getting all upset about this. And you never know. Look, Marvel could end up reversing this whole thing. She could end up being back to that Asian body because of whatever reasons that they decide to come up with. And you got to remember something else here, and you got to look at this. This might have been something that was meant to be temporary to begin with, because this is a story that Chris Claremont set in and never really kind of finished. So for all we know, that might have only been actually a temporary thing that was supposed to happen, but because it was kind of unresolved, they just kind of left it alone and went with it. And of course, yeah, that's a long time to go with something like that for 30 years, but you got to look at it also on Marvel's side here. And I know this is funny, I should really, I think it's funny that I'm kind of defending Marvel in this a little bit here, but it's not really so much as defending Marvel, but maybe the reason why Marvel is doing this is to kind of placate to the people that feel offended or felt offended by the fact that she was never actually an Asian woman to begin with. So that's something to think about as well. Of course, like I said, either way, I wouldn't have had an issue with it, whatever they decided to do, because it's their character. And again, what's important about the character of Psylocke will always be who she is and not what she looks like on the outside and the things that she does. Like I said, the story that they build around her, the struggles that she goes through and overcomes and things like that are more important than her actual skin color. That should be the main focus of her story. So maybe some of you agree, maybe some of you disagree, and that's fine. That's just my opinion on the matter. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm John, and that's just my take.